Reddy Garu, Director, Scientist, ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition. And today's guest of honor, Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati, Senior Professor, Retired Department of Food and Nutrition, PJTA, SAU, Hyderabad. My colleagues, Dr. G. Venkat Subbaya, Honorary Secretary, FIE, Telangana State Center, Engineer P. Shankar Prasad, MIE, Committee Member and Convener of the today's event. Past Presidents, past Vice Presidents, Council Members of the Institution of Engineers and Telangana State Center, past Chairman, past Honorary Secretaries, Committee Members of Telangana State Center, and corporate members of Institution of Engineers, budding engineers, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, good evening to all of you. Today, I am very happy to and consider it a great privilege and honor to be amidst this great August gathering and extend a hearty welcome to the chief guest of the day, Dr. G. Bhanuprakash Reddy Garu, and respected guest of honor, Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati Garu, and all of you to this World Food Day. And the theme for the year is actually this 22, Leave No One Behind. In the face of actually looming global food crisis, it was needing to harness the power of solidarity and collective movement to build a better future where everyone has regular access to enough nutrition food. In that context, Dr. Paul Romani, former Hungarian Minister for Agriculture and Food, suggested the establishment of World Food Day in the year 1979 in the month of November, and it was celebrated in more than 150 countries around the world. And the first was held in the year 1981. And collective action across 150 countries worldwide is what makes World Food Day one of the most celebrated United Nations days of the United Nations calendar, and hundreds of events and outreach activities bring together the governments, businesses, the media, the public, even the youth. And what is special about today, October, this thing is the World Food Day is celebrated to inspire the people about healthy diets. And even in schools also, to improve the conditions for migrating households in host communities, and also to start a seed preservation project by the students and promote local farming over big business agriculture, and by scheduling farm visits by the students. The schools also celebrate the World Food Day. On behalf of the Telangana State Center and on my own behalf, I once again extend a hearty welcome to all of you to this today's World Food Day observation by the Telangana State Center. And thank you, one and all. Now, may I request Mr. Engineer P. Shankar Prasad, convener of the event and chairman of Water Management Forum, to kindly introduce today's guest of honor, Professor Dr. T.M. Haimawati Garu, Senior Professor, Retired Department of Food and Nutrition. I request Mr. Shankar Prasad and over to Mr. Shankar Prasad.
Sir, good evening all. A hearty welcome to World Food Day celebrations in Institution of Engineers. So, it's my privilege to read biodata of Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati Madam. So kindly, thank you, Madam, for kindly accepting the invitation as and when requested. So, Madam, Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati is former senior professor and head nutrition of PGTSAU, did her masters from SV University, Tirupati, and doctorate from Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University, Hyderabad. Served Agriculture University, APAU or ANGRU or PJTSAU for more than 36 years. She taught and guided diplomas, diploma, UG, PG, and PhD students in the areas of nutrition and food technology. Offered several advanced trainings in the area of nutrition for State Agriculture University, Nutrition Food Technology faculty. Handled state and national projects in the areas of nutrition and food processing, developed functional foods for lifestyle diseases such as resistant starch, dietary fiber-rich beta carotene, prebiotic and mineral-rich products. Developed several nutri-cereal, quinoa, and fruit-based technologies which are of commercial importance, such as gluten-free pasta. Established millet processing and incubation center in the university, which was first of its kind in India during the year 2013. Played a key role in the establishment of millet incubation center funded by Ministry of Food Processing Industries in 2021. Promoted millets in big way through consultancy, technology transfer, and helped millet entrepreneurship. Introduced millet foods in the Telangana state welfare hostels. Launched Millet Plus branded millet products from the university. Instrumental in establishment of educational technology cell and fruit and vegetable processing unit in the university. Provided first-hand information on nutri-cereals to several faculty, government officials, IAS, probationary officers, field functionaries, entrepreneurs, and farmers. Published papers in national and international journals and served as speaker in national and international conferences, including non-academic public meetings and farmers meetings, etc., etc. She is a regular speaker in the agricultural officers training offered by various state and national institutes for importing knowledge on food processing. Traveled USA, UK, Thailand, and France for many academic activities. She is recipient of ICAR award for the NIAP subject sub-project best teacher award from Telangana state government for the teaching excellency. Poshak Anaz award for the significant contribution in the areas of nutri-cereals. Professional excellency award from Rotary Club. Best nutritionist from Epicurus Hospitality and Lady Legend from Tutors Pride, etc. Member of many scientific societies like NSI, IDA, AFST, India, and OWSD Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, and a member of FICCI. She is an expert committee member for the DBT in shaping proposals during the 12th plan under social development sector. She is also an expert committee member for NIMS, CFTRI, and JNTU. She served as an expert member for the research activities of the regional CFTRI Center, Hyderabad. Her additional expertise includes nutraceuticals, designers, foods, agribusiness management, nutritional counseling, etc. Obtained training in the areas of food risk analysis, agribusiness management, etc. from prestigious international universities like Cornell and Alabama, USA. Currently, she is offering consultancy in food processing and serving as resource person for several organizations, acting as an expert committee member for several state agricultural universities. Madam, thank you for accepting and coming as today's guest of honor and speaker for today to speak on this occasion, World Food Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar Garu, for your nice introduction. So, shall I proceed with the presentation? I have a small presentation. Can I share it?
Yes, madam. You can share, madam.
don't know whether I am supposed to make a presentation or talk. I did not ask, but I thought it's
No,
better.
no, madam, whichever way you want, that is okay, madam. Whichever is convenient for you.
1 minute. Something has happened.
Now you can share, madam. We have given,
Okay, okay.
Permission. Okay.
Oh. I don't know where it is. Why is it? Sorry, it is something.
Madam, is that share icon is visible, madam?
1 minute. No, suddenly my computer started shaking. I don't know why. I'm not able to.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Suddenly it happened.
Madam, if we have the PPT, can send to our center, madam. They will share it.
Shall I share
to me, madam.
to you? I think that's
Okay. Thank you, sir.
oh my God. I should have checked it actually. Shall we do one thing because can we proceed with the
Okay, madam.
because something has happened. I'm not able to see it. Suddenly, I don't have a copy of it. Suddenly, it started shaking my laptop. So I'm not able to
Okay,
look.
madam. No problem. No
Sorry,
problem. No worry. Also.
I don't know why it has happened like this. Actually, if it is opening, then I can.
Yeah, no problem, madam. We can continue with the talk, madam. Otherwise.
1 minute. It has come now? Okay.
Yeah, started. Yeah,
Okay.
now it's coming.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Sorry.
Madam, then go for the presentation mode, madam.
Okay.
Right side bottom, there are 3 icons, madam.
Yeah,
Third one.
No, this has suddenly it has happened.
Yes, madam.
I'm doing it right now.
Yes.
My laptop, I use different thing. I'm in a different place now. Okay. Okay. The topic we have chosen for today's talk is safer food and better health. I thought you are also now, I think most of the public are well aware about the nutrition. Many people are talking about the nutrition, even non-nutritionists also. But the right thing is whatever we are eating, it should be safe. It might be nutritious, but it need not be safe. So what exactly the meaning of the safe, in my view, I would like to share. So generally it comes to our mind that safe means just microbiologically free food. It's not that. It is Beyond that, I would like to express my views. It's solely my views about the food safety, which is leading to the better nutrition as well as the health. So before I go for the details, I would like to show you one slide, which is telling us that worldwide, too many are still malnourished. Too many are there. If you see the number, I don't go in detail, but different categories of people, starting from children, adult, and so many women, men. Everybody is having something other problem, which is malnourished. Either it is undernutrition or overnutrition. So most of the children are wasted, and some of them are overweight. The other side, some are wasted, some are overweight and having low birth weight. And then adults are again having obesity as well as overweight. And too many people are still anemic, especially the girls and women, which is reflecting on the next generation of the population. And lots of people are having raised blood pressure, and many of the population, world population, including India, are having diabetes, and lots of increase or rise is being projected in the future, and too many are underweight. So this is the scenario of the world with regard to the nutritional status. So the data is available, many of the sites like FAO and WHO everywhere. On the other side, over a period, we understood about, we are trying to understand better and better about the food linking with the health. We just know that a long time ago that food is good for the health and nutrition and our building our body and our physical activity, mental activity, etc. But now over a period, we tried to understand so much about the food. It's not very little, but it is too much. Day by day, we are increasing our understanding about the food and minute things, how it is going to influence our health. So which is telling us that we have to be very careful, highly cautious about the food what we are eating in terms of the safety. It's not simply that which is nutritionally rich. Even though it is nutritionally rich, it might have so many unsafe contributing factors in that. So that is what I am trying to tell. The public need to understand, and this is the time to understand what kind of food we are eating, how it is influencing our health. So, this picture shows that starting from our understanding of vitamins and minerals and other nutrients.
Mr. Shankar Prasad, kindly mute your this thing.
Hello, I think someone is.
Mr. Shankar Prasad was talking. Now yes,
Talk is there. Some cross talk is going on.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Can you hear me? Okay. So from that level, now we are talking about the nutrition genomics. That is, we are linking nutrition and genes and how it is influencing our positive and negative health, and all that is going on. So this is the other side of the scientific knowledge we are acquiring day by day. And now I would like to say a few words about the safe food. So generally, it comes to our mind that microbial contamination is, if anything is there, then we feel that is unsafe food. Of course, I agree with that. Microbial contamination is unsafe for consumption. Once we consume, it has lots of implications, and so many people are having so many diseases, microbial affecting and all those things. The data I will be showing you. And then non-microbial contamination is also happening. That is also there, known to us. And adulteration is also going on. That means the food should be adulteration free. And after that, we should also think about the food which is safe for your gut. We can't consume whatever comes to your hand, whatever comes to your mind, or it need not be impulsive eating. And also, I would like to mention on the thing gene friendly. It should be safe for your genes. It should not damage or should not impact negatively your genes. And also you should be climate safe. That is, we all know that there is a lot of changing is going on in the climate. It should be climate friendly. I will be going in detail about that in next slides. and portion size friendly. So you should think of or cautious about your portion size also. So microbially unsafe foods, if you are consuming all over the world, we see that knowingly, unknowingly, many people are consuming because of the poverty or because of lack of knowledge or whatever it is. So many people in the world are affecting with that microbial contamination foods, and so many people are having foodborne diseases, and especially with the socio-economic development under socio-economic population. So because they cannot afford to have a safe food, and water is the biggest problem, sanitization is the biggest problem. So because of all those things, so many people, about 600 million people, almost 1 in 10 people are having the effects of this microbial consumption of microbially unsafe foods. So because of the lots of tourism is going on, and global travel is going on, and all those things, so many factors. So we should be cautious in choosing our food which is safe microbiologically. That means a genuine source we have to pick up. And food contamination is happening heavily across the globe, and in India too. We must be reading in the papers that lots of foods are being contaminated with the heavy metals, especially lead, etc., arsenic, whatnot, cadmium. So many heavy metals are going on into the our food, what we are eating daily. Though the FSSAI is taking care, but still lots of foods are being contaminated. You can get this information across the newspapers and the scientific journals everywhere. And of course, pesticides, and then toxins, and plastics is a big one because of the plastic use for the food. It's a direct contact, especially the pickles and beverages, etc., etc. If they are not food grade plastics, and lots of contamination is coming into the food, and toxins, natural toxins, and then processed toxins because of the unsafe processing. I mean, processing abuse, and lots of toxins are going into the food. And of course, industrial chemicals are also going on. So most of our foods are being contaminated with all these unwanted material, undesirable material. So one has to be cautious about the safety in this angle. So that means checking of the food, what they are consuming is very important, and going for a right place and the right choice or right source is very important. And tracing back, you need to understand where it has come, and all those information now it's available. You should probe and get the information, the source of that material. So unless the public demand that kind of sourcing of, tracing of the information, the suppliers won't be able to follow the guidelines in the safety aspects and all those things. So it is again the public demanded information. So the more we demand, the more uncontaminated food we can get in the market. And you can see that adulteration is very rampant in India, and about 60% of milk in our country is unsafe, adulterated with paint, detergent, all those things unwanted. So many things now you see everywhere. It's open to the public also, all these calamities happening because of the adulteration. So one has to be very careful reading the label and understanding the source, and all that is very important. So consumption of adulteration-free food is very important, though it is nutritionally rich. You may get a food which is nutritionally rich. You might be thinking that you are eating a balanced food. But what about the safety aspect? The safety is more important. If that is not safe, the very purpose of eating the food is lost. So whatever you think that it is there in the food, you don't get that nutritional benefits because of this adulteration. So that will get nullified most of the times. So beyond that also, get unsafe materials or undesirable materials going into your body, causing harmful effects, leading to several kinds of diseases, including cancer and all those things. So we have to be very careful in this kind of adulteration and gut safe. So keep your gut all the time safe. The more you keep your gut safe, and it will help you to improve your health. So it's an old saying, but now more and more knowledge we have gained scientifically over a period. That means now the recent pandemic COVID, that we have a good lesson for all of us. Lack of immunity has led to the so many deaths and all those things. It's not a one-time effort, it's a lifetime effort you have to put in to keep your gut clean. So how do you keep your gut clean? You should eat the foods which are safe for the gut. You should not abuse the gut. In the gut, you have so many important microbiota is there, which is helping your body to maintain your absorption of nutrients as well as immunity and all those things. So you should let it go in that way. If you start abusing that, then there will be dysbiosis. So that will again lead to the chronic non-communicable diseases and all those inflammatory diseases, cancers, and so many other disorders will be getting. And that means the natural microbiota will be destroyed and unwanted pathogenic bacteria will be taking place or override that natural microbiota. So one has to be very careful. So you might ask, what foods? So naturally, all the fiber-rich foods coming from all kinds of fruits and maybe legumes, pulses, such kind of nuts, you should include regularly in your diet so that you are providing the good food for the gut. So that means your gut safe food is very important for your health as well as the nutritional status. And gene friendly. So I was telling you that now we have gone to an understanding of linking our health, nutrition, and genes, and genes vice versa also. So that means the interaction between genes and food bioactive compounds. That means every food will have some important chemicals which are beyond the nutrients, that is called phytochemicals. So that, as well as the fats, your carbohydrates, and all those compounds will interact with the genes, and that might positively or negatively influence individuals' health. So now our blood pressures, diabetes, and heart problems, so many lifestyle diseases are now linked with the genes. And for that reason, now we are seeing that many people, irrespective of following a specific common guidelines for a specific disease, the disease levels are not coming down. The very reason is that it is a gene is linked in that. So now we are trying to understand how it is going to be affecting our genes. So for a common man, to make it clear that you should not abuse your body with unwanted foods like trans fat foods. I mean, of course, that is banned, but still there are some here and there we still see such kind of foods, and low fiber foods also is causing damage to our genes, and most of the saturated fats consumption, and all these are going to be, there are studies linking that is affecting genes and then again leading to the diseases. So you have to be very careful, and this is again now leading to us personalized nutrition. And all these years we're talking about the nutritional advice common across the public, same guidelines. Now in the future it is going to be that's not the same. It is individual based. That means you are different and I am different. So your genes are different, my genes are different. So based on our genes, we need to consume. So this is our new understanding. So we try to consciously eat our food so that we are able to understand when we are eating a food, what kind of changes you can feel, and maybe slowly you can understand your own body, and that will tell a lot what foods you can avoid and what foods you can safely consume. For example, recently the wheat, earlier also we are eating wheat, and now also we are eating wheat. Because of there is a change in the wheat genetics, which is being cropped at Punjab. That kind of wheat consumption is again affecting the gut, which is leading to the gluten intolerance even in Indian population also. That was some study. So like that, we are still finding out the other links of the foods as well as with your genes and all. So at this juncture, the common, it is beyond the common man's understanding. But what I'm trying to tell you is that everywhere the safety of the food is very important to maintain your health as it is, or to improve the health status or nutritional status. So there are big genome studies are going on world over, and I think in future we might eat gene-based diets and personalized based diets. You tell your genes, and we will provide you the food. That kind of supermarket foods are being available, maybe available in future. So already the personal nutrition is there in the other countries, but it not in India. But getting information, right information for your own body conditions is very important at this juncture. And reaching to a genuine nutritionist is very important. And now people are just impulsively following the advices of the non-nutritionists, which is being very rampant in the social media. So one has to avoid such kind of things. If at all you want to understand the kind of food what you are supposed to eat, is better to approach a proper nutritionist at your reach, and climate friendly. So now, because of the climate change, I think engineering people also will understand better on this concept. There is a lot of changes are going on, and meat consumption is going to further damage our climate because of the emissions which is coming out. So vegan foods, if you are adopting, then you can reduce that emission, because the more emissions, again, it is damaging your body as well as your some of the crops nutritional status. So we should not let lose the nutritional quality of the foods, because you have to eat that. That means the safety of the crops is you have to maintain your health. To maintain your health, that means some of the foods like wheat and rice, already it is studied, there is a loss of zinc and iron in that crops because of the climate change, but not in the millets. So better to adopt such kind of foods which are harmless to the climate. So millets are climate resilient. It doesn't harm the climate, though we grow in more size and all, and it requires less water compared to the rice and wheat. So you can alternatively use that millets, not only for this, but other aspects also, which is rich in several kinds of nutrients and all those things. Anyway, I'm not going into those kinds of details. And very importantly, we need to understand, because of this climate change, there is a worsening of the diseases wherever they are. Say, for example, you have diabetes or heart problem, or maybe another obesity or whatever it is, because of the climate change, the studies are telling us that the situation will worsen. That means whatever care you are taking now, you have to double it. The care, you have to be utmost careful to minimize the risk at whatever level you are having. So you can't neglect the angle or aspect of the climate change. We should be cautious about the climate change, and accordingly we have to eat our food, choose our food. That is, I mean to say that safe for the climate. And after all these things, it's very, very important is optimum portion size. Nowadays, people are not following any kind of portion size. They just like that casually, many of the population. Of course, there are some people following portion, but again, the people who are following the portion, because of the fear of the overeating and leading to the obesity, diabetes, etc., they consume very less. That is also again dangerous. So optimum portion size is very, very important. We should not overdo it or underdo it. So how do you understand? You have to understand that eat your food and wait for some time and look for the satiety feeling. That means you will be able to understand how much you are able to eat and how much you can afford to eat. While you are looking for this portion size, again, same food you can't eat because it's nutritiously rich and all those things. Some people say it's zinc rich or iron rich, that rich, and so many information is available freely across the social media. And keeping that in view, you should not overeat that. Again, that is again influencing your nutritional status, because so one thing is more and again other thing is very less. It's a lot of interaction will goes on and nothing is available to your body, and something else will come, and ultimately you don't get anything to your body. So you should not overdo it. Whatever you are supposed to eat, you should eat. And for that, the ICMR has given guidelines. Everybody can refer to that, and how your plate should look, and what is the proportion of your carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, nuts, fats, and oils. And if you can follow that, and that would be your optimum portion size. So you can choose among those foods, or you can alternate it. And according to your disease condition or maybe health condition, you have to slightly modify that within that proportion. And people who are obese, maybe they can reduce the refined carbohydrates, go for the complex carbohydrates, such kind of things you have to modify. Otherwise, it's always better to follow the optimum portion size. So I just completed, and I would like to give a take-home message saying that conscious eating is very important, and no casual eating, and proactive eating is very important than post-active. And most of the population, whoever are coming in contact with me, they always think that something comes to them. I mean, some negativity comes to their health, then they start eating healthy food. Till then, they are indisciplined. So once the disease comes, then they wanted to be disciplined in eating. So that is very wrong. You have to be proactive to be disease-free or to maintain your health. So this kind of message should go to the population, and it should start from the childhood. It's not that you can happily enjoy all kinds of unsafe food. Unsafe means whatever I said. It's not just microbial unsafe, the other safety. People think that they can eat unsafe food till they get something negativity to their body. That's very, very wrong. And optimization of portion size is very important in spite of nutritionally rich foods. And you should always opt for diversified foods. And I mean to say, and I would like to stress again, food safety is beyond microbial safety. So the more we follow these kind of safety aspects in the food, then we can minimize the health risks, and we can enhance our nutritional status. And that way, I feel we can contribute about the world economics growth, because I always feel that being healthy is not a selfish thing, it's a social responsibility. If you are not healthy, you are going to damage the entire society. The good example is the recent pandemic. Because you are not immune, you got the COVID and next person has got COVID, the entire world has got the COVID. So that is what is going to happen. And your entire, wherever you are there, you are unable to perform your duties. So I always stress on this point that being healthy is a social responsibility. So I think on this World Food Day, I just wanted to share these few things with you. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to the organizers. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you, madam, for your wonderful presentation and very informative about the dieting and nutrition food. Really worth noting all these things. And anybody has any questions to ask, madam? Otherwise, we'll continue with the program. I think there are no questions. So now, may I request our Honorary Secretary, Dr. G. Venkata Subbaiah Garu, to kindly introduce today's chief guest, Dr. G. Banu Prakash Reddy Garu, Director, ICMR, National Nutrition Institute of Nutrition. Before we ask him for addressing, presenting.
Thank you, sir. So it is a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. G. Banu Prakash Reddy Garu. So Dr. G. Banu Prakash Reddy is a director grade scientist at the ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition, and heading the biochemistry department. He obtained his MSc and PhD in biochemistry from Osmania University. He had postdoctoral training at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and the Case Western University, USA. He was a visiting scientist at the University of Michigan and at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. He has made significant contributions in the area of molecular nutrition and age-related disorders. He has published over 220 research papers in scientific journals and he has 3 patents to his credit. 25 students have obtained PhD degrees under his guidance. He is a recipient of ICMR Basanti Devi Award, Scopus India Young Scientist Award, RPC International Scholars Award, ICMR Dr. V.N. Patwardhan Prize, and the National Society of India Young Scientist Award. He is a fellow of the National Academy of Medical Sciences, fellow of the National Academy of Sciences, fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry, London, and fellow of the Telangana Academy of Sciences. So with this, I request Dr. G. Banu Prakash Reddy Garu to start with his presentation. Sir, kindly.
Thank you, sir, for that kind introduction, Venkata Subbaiah Garu. First of all, my appreciation and sincere thanks to the organizers, Sri Bamma Reddy Garu and Venkata Subbaiah Garu and Sitaram Babu, who contacted me. I also want to say that we had my impression about engineers was different. That probably they are not much interested about medical sciences and life sciences, and it is really heartening to know that all you, the eminent engineers, on Sunday evening would like to have a program like this on the occasion of World Food Day. That's really commendable, and I think it's very much appreciated, sir. I think that is a kind of awareness, and organizations should come into picture for taking the message to the masses. I really thank you on this note, and let me just share my presentation. And well, I am also here to say a few things. That I'm neither a nutritionist nor a food scientist. I happen to be a biochemist working at the National Institute of Nutrition. But let me share a few things on this World Food Day with you all. I'm also a little bit, what do I say, concerned that you are all eminent engineers. I don't know how much I'm going to simplify my message to you all. And added to that, Professor Haimawati has made my job easier, highlighting some important points on this particular day. So what I would like to do is, yeah, is that, just give some presentation on balanced diet for health and nutrition security on this World Food Day. Well, this year's World Food Day theme is that leave no one behind. That means it should be an inclusive exercise that we should take everyone along with it, with this theme, that everyone should have the nutritional security and food security. And we are all are aware that the World Food Day is celebrated to commemorate the institution of even Food and Agriculture Organization sometime in 1945, not sometime, exactly on this day, October 16th. So that's the day that we celebrate, so as to educate the masses and all categories of the society, including the academicians and people like you and nutritionists and home science people, about the production of the food, about its quality of nutrition, as Professor Aimavati already said, what is the safety of it, and how it is going to contribute to your health. So with that note, I just want to give some tenets of these aspects about food security. Food security means that all people at all times should have physical, social, economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, which meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. I think this itself suffices the theme that this year we are going to talk, that is leave no one behind. That's exactly the, I think, food security also defines. And then, as Professor Aimavati said, it's also the importance of nutrition security, which means that what is the nutrition security? Physical, economic, social access to an age and physiological state appropriate balanced diet. I'm going to highlight a little bit on the appropriate balanced diet, and also safe drinking water, environmental hygiene, and all are these very, very important for primary health care. So this is an aspect that we are going to discuss in the next few slides. Let me just change my panel of the video, which is coming in my way. Just give me a second. Yeah. I hope what I am saying is audible to you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now since Professor Aimavati already touched on food safety, let me just take one or 2 points. The food safety is nothing but safety, quality, and nutritional value of the food, and also which is very, very important for our health and well-being. And food safety has got a variety of components here. Like we have a variety of vectors where food can get contaminated. When I say vectors, it can be a biological problem, it can be chemical, it can be physical hazard, so on and so forth. So food can get contaminated at any point during production, distribution, and preparation. We all think that only when after preparing, there's a possibility that it can get contaminated. No, at all levels, it can get contaminated. And therefore, it is important to make sure that the food we eat is not contaminated with potentially harmful bacteria, parasites, viruses, toxins, and most importantly, chemicals or adulterants. So the put together how these things will add up to our health and nutrition security is a theme that we are going to talk to the people, so as to make them aware about it, and then how much they can make themselves to access to it. And the question comes to the affordability. Therefore, health and nutrition security basically on the question of balanced diet, that is eating the right food, and sanitation, safe water, healthcare, outreach to everyone. So it's a multi-pronged kind of system. Otherwise, we always think that okay, what we eat, if it is good, that's enough. It is not like that. So taking this actually, the concept that what I just mentioned, the Food Regulatory Authority in India, that what is we call as a FSSAI, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, also takes this as a inclusive kind of responsibility. That means no single group, whether it's a nutritionist or whether it's a health workers or the medical practitioners, it's not the responsibility of only these three categories, but everyone in the society. That's why they call whole of the society. Those who produce, those who are the experts, and those who consume, that means the stakeholders, and even the in the business groups. So all these groups, this is what they call whole of society, has a responsibility to ensure the tenets of food and nutrition security. And we from the Nutrition Institute are so happy that you as the engineers are also very interested in this topic, and also we hope that in future you will continue to do this further, not only just taking in a lecture. Wherever it is possible, we can take this to the society. Now, let me just give you that I'm sure all of you know the WHO definition of health is like this. Health is a complete status of physical, mental, and social well-being. So I would like to stress on the second and third part, that is mental and social well-being. We always think that illness is the problem as far as health is concerned. It's not just the illness, but I think it's a mental and social well-being. And not only that, as I said, the absence or of the disease, but it is the social well-being is very important. And as Professor Aimodi already said, the healthy person is leading a socially and economically active life, and that is the social responsibility also. So what are the basic requirements? There are many requirements, but let me tell you the most important requirements for good health: nutrition, that is a balanced diet, exercise and rest, and good habits, that is nothing but lifestyle. Therefore, most of the diseases, particularly in the adults, these are we call them as a lifestyle disorders. That means it is your lifestyle that makes whether you are healthy or unhealthy as far as these lifestyle disorders are concerned. Now, coming to the question of the required components in the food that makes the balanced diet, there are two categories of things that we call as far as the food is concerned. One is we say that macronutrients, that means they are taken in a somewhat good amount or bulk amount. Let's say if you take carbohydrates, that contributes to your calories anywhere between 50 to 60% of your calories comes from carbohydrates. And your proteins contributes to about 15% of your energy, and fats contributes to about 25 to 35% of your energy. That means we know how much to take this. I'm going to show in the next slide how much we should take this. So we call them as a macronutrients, because you can see and you can assess how much you are taking. Whereas there is another group of nutrients that we call them as micronutrients. Mostly they are vitamins and minerals. And basically these do not contribute to your energy, but they are very essential, required in a small quantity for the various biological activities. And they should be obtained from the diet, since body cannot produce most of these micronutrients. That means they are very essential. So in the current scenario, the micronutrient deficiency is the most important problem as far as the public health nutrition is concerned than the macronutrients. The reason why I say this, I think if you go back to about 50-60 years ago, we were actually a dependent country on for food grains. But I think situation is largely changed. Now we are not in that bad situation. Actually, in FCI godowns, we even have excess food grains. Therefore, food security is not a big problem, excepting some categories here and there, maybe very marginalized sectors, migrants, or such kind of thing. Otherwise, food security is not a problem, but it is a nutritional security that is a very important aspect currently as far as public health nutrition is concerned. So, in the nutritional security, when I say nutritional security, it is not only the macronutrients; it's the question of micronutrients, as I said. And how are we going to meet these requirements? As I already mentioned, micronutrients are required in small quantities that play an essential role in various biological aspects, and their deficiencies are mostly propagated through dietary inadequacies. That means what kind of food we are taking, it determines whether we are deficient for these micronutrients or not. And this deficiency of micronutrients can cause several health consequences in humans. So unlike, we all know that whenever we say vitamin deficiencies or micronutrient deficiencies, for obvious reasons, we have been talking that vitamin A deficiency, folate, and vitamin D, but many others are also very important. then how do you meet these requirements? Because as you, by the name micronutrients, they're in a small quantity. You don't even know that whether you can't see them, how much you are taking them. But then how do you ensure that we are meeting those requirements? For that, actually, National Institute of Nutrition has done an exercise which keeps on doing regularly, but this is the latest one, which was released in 2020, which we call it as Nutrient Requirements for Indians. So this book, of course, very, very technical, but this book tells that, what kind of requirements for each of the people and each category of the people. That means how much vitamin A should be taken, how much vitamin B12 should be taken. Literally every nutrient, how much it should be taken is given. But then it is a technical one. How do you know that? Let's say when we say 1 mg of vitamin B1, can somebody in everyday measure that 1 mg is there or not? That's not possible practically. So therefore, what we do is, just a few minutes ago, Professor Haimawati presented this slide. Recently, NIN, ISMR NIN has released this thing called My Plate for the Day. If this is your plate for the day, your plate should look like this. So, but again, this is a visual thing for the common people. Then how do you know that what all that I am going to take? I have a table here showing that cereals, that means which contribute to the carbohydrate consumption, should be 240 grams in a day. This is actually for adult men or women. There could be slight difference between men and women. So this is for a day actually. So it can be divided into the portions and not depending upon what you are taking in breakfast, what you are taking in lunch and dinner. But in a given day, your cereals, that includes Nutri cereals, so all that should be about 250 grams. Whereas your pulses, when I say pulses, which contributes to your proteins, though I said proteins should contribute to 15 to 20% calories. How do you know that? You cannot calculate your calories. Therefore, the quantity that you should take your pulses should be about 90 grams per day. In other words, 1 gram of protein per kg of the body weight. Let's say if you are a 60 kg person, your protein requirement is 60 grams. But 60 grams cannot be exactly taken because it will have something else. When you take pulses, there will be something else. Therefore, 90 grams of the pulses will provide your 60 grams of the protein. Likewise, the milk and curd should be about 300 ml or 300 grams. This is one thing I just want to highlight here, if I am not taking your time too much. The reason is that even though India is one of the country that produces milk in such a this thing, and we are ranked number 1 or number 2, whatever it is, but unfortunately, the milk consumption in our country again, it's a survey from NIN, tells that the mean intake of milk and dairy products in India are not more than 120 grams per day. Against the recommendations that we make is 300. So that means milk and milk products. When I say milk, it need not to be milk. Any milk related or dairy products can be up to 300 grams. So vegetables and fruits put together, 350 and 150 should make your plate. That is, your plate should be literally half of the plate should be filled with fruits and vegetables. This is where actually India is lagging behind much. Though we grow a lot of vegetables, maybe for various reasons, economic reasons, and many other reasons. Even culturally, our practice is such that maybe just some rice and a little bit of dal and sambar is done for the day, but we really do not focus on this aspect. That is one thing. Then we also recommended nuts and seeds about 20 grams in a day, and oils should be about 30 grams per day. So that will give you the required amount of calories for the adult men or women. So more or less, I have shown you the same thing here. Well, when you do this, you are largely expected to meet all your macro and micronutrient requirements. But the question is micronutrient deficiency. Why do we face this micronutrient deficiencies? The kind of food that we take, monotonous food. Let's say it's a rice, 2 times in a day rice. At the most of morning, you may take some breakfast, which could be slightly different. So when you consume rice, what all that you get? Majorly carbohydrate and maybe a little bit of protein and a little bit of fiber, very little. Therefore, where are you going to get your micronutrients? That is the question. So that's why we have recommended this kind of diet for the people. Just to tell you what is our situation with respect to these micronutrient deficiencies in children, it's a very recent data. on average, this children up to 20 years, there is a 20% of vitamin deficiency. There is again another 25% of vitamin deficiency, and about 35% of children are B12 deficient, and again about 40% of the children are folate deficient, 30% are zinc deficient. Name it, most of the major micronutrients, we are about 30 to 35% children are deficient. And of course, iron deficiency and anemia is a major problem in the country that we have been talking over the years. Though we have made significant contribution, but there's a long way to go to remove or eradicate the anemia. So I showed the data for the children, but you may be asking what is the situation in adults. This is a recent data again done by my group at NIN. And if I have to tell you, how do we fare with respect to some of the vitamins? 50% of the adult population is B2 deficiency, that is riboflavin. Another 50% B6 deficient. Almost 35% are B12 deficient. So also folate and vitamin D 30%. So this is the situation we are in. Then you may be saying that, now we have food security, then what is the problem? The problem is that, the way that you eat your food, as Professor Aimawati repeatedly said, I am going to say the same thing. Again, I am going to repeat that, how do we meet this? Okay. And that apart, we also have other extreme of the problem. That means overweight, obesity, whether it's abdominal obesity or simple obesity, a bit of anemia and hypertension. This is a kind of, paradigm. One side we are talking about the deficiencies, other side we are talking about the obesity, which people think that when you eat a lot, you will become obese. Yes, to some extent it is true, but most of these micronutrient deficiencies will also contribute to this other extreme of the undernutrition, that is overweight and obesity. Just to tell you that what is the importance of all these micronutrients, I'm not going to read, and I don't want you to be bothered about. Most of these micronutrients deficiencies are the culprits for the major lifestyle or adult diseases, whether it's macular degeneration, Alzheimer's, dementia, or obesity, cataract, cardiovascular diseases, or some immune-related problems, or diabetes and osteoporosis, etc., etc. That is exactly the reason why we end up with all these adult diseases. I will skip all these things. Where from you get what kind of amount that we are going to meet, in the rice, how much protein we'll have, and whereas in the wheat, what is the protein we have? It's given here. If it is recorded anytime, maybe you can check it. And where are we going to meet our protein requirements? Well, there is again a debate in a social media that whether we should completely shift to vegetarian lifestyle or still have it. As far as the science is concerned, I want to say a few things here. Science does not get into interfere with your cultural and the dietary habits. All that we should be knowing our requirements, and it is individual responsibility how to meet these requirements. Once you know that you need to have 1 gram of protein per day, whether you take it from meat or you take it from the plant sources, the choice is yours. The other question, contributing to the greenhouse carbon emission and all that, is a secondary thing. To some extent, if you completely avoid the animal protein, I think for sure we are not going to meet our requirements. Again, I am not getting into the cultural issues here. It's individual choice. Okay, this one slide is a little important for this group, though all of you happen to be gentlemen, but if some women are there, it would be very much useful to them. As far as the consumption of the oils and fats, we tend to use one type of oil, whether it's a groundnut oil and sunflower oil. Again, this comes to the question of diet diversification or balanced diet. The reason why we suggest not to use one single oil is that, in each oil has got different kind of fatty acids. Let's say if you take the plant vegetable oils, most of them are rich in N6, but we also need N3 omega. So therefore, one has to rotate the oils either every 15 days or every 1 month, all these different oils. And also, all oils cannot be used for all purposes. If you are able to read here, some are good for frying, some are good for sorting, some are good for general cooking, because of the chemistry, because of their smoke point and their nature, we have to use them. But of all the oil, what we use in Telangana or by and large in India, except in Bengal, groundnut is the best one, followed by sunflower, and then you can always switch over to rice bran. But our recommendation is that at least every 15 days or every 1 month, you change 3 to 4 oils in a 3 to 4 months of the span, so that you get all different oils, fatty acids that are present in the oils. And our recommendation is try to use as much as locally available fruits and vegetables, or any matter for that matter, all your dietary sources. One need not to think that, getting a stevia, getting, what is this, quinoa from somewhere else, getting, olive oil from somewhere else is not really that much worth for the amount of the money that we spend. There's one small thing that I wanted to say and then end my talk here, because with the corona, we all got so much of conscious about our immunity. See, and also connection with the nutrition. People started experimenting like anything, as Professor Haimavathy said. We went to extremes, So immunity is not something that has all of a sudden made a this thing. Immunity is one biological or physical property in all of our biological systems. And then there is a connection for the immunity is that if you see, immunity is regulated by all the factors, as I said. What is your lifestyle, smoking, alcohol, your physical activity, your stress, and your genetics, as Madam said, and your medication. So all these things can affect your immunity, and nutrition is one part there. So therefore, we hyped so much so about immunity and its connection to nutrition. As long as you take balanced diet, your immunity is also taken care, like any other biological process in our system. So, but if at all one has to say what is good for the immunity, protein is very important, followed by fat, and then carbohydrates should be slightly lesser. Relatively, if you really want to maintain your good immunity. Well, as all the micronutrients which I said, some of them are very, very essential for your immunity, particularly vitamin A, B6, B12, vitamin D, and vitamin E. And some minerals like zinc are also very, very essential for immunity. Now, this part Madam has already covered. I will not take your time much on that. There are different ways that influence the food safety. One is the personal hygiene, and then cross-contamination. Most importantly, temperature, location, and time-related issues. Generally, even though we are all educated and we know it, but when it comes to practice, we do not do that, because when you store the food in the fridge, you see that you don't store the cooked food and uncooked food together. This is a very, very common thing that we make a mistake. Cooked food should be stored separately, uncooked food should be stored separately. And also when you take the refrigerated food outside, you allow it to come to room temperature or heat little bit, and then finish then and there. Again, don't put back in the fridge. If I say this, it is funny, but we do this. And then most common food allergens are, sometimes it could be dairy, eggs and soy, fish and wheat, because in the gluten in wheat can cause. But it is in some individuals. Therefore, let's not generalize. Unless otherwise you have experience, you get it tested. Don't generalize and keep saying that don't eat wheat, you will get all 101 problems, or don't eat fish. So each individual is different. But as a country of 140 crores, at this point of time, it is difficult to have that kind of information, individual based, telling that each one, okay, you avoid fish, you avoid wheat. At this point of time, our health system is not equipped to do that. Therefore, it is the individual's responsibility. As and when you experience, you try to avoid that. That is the recommendation that we try to tell them. There are also food adulterants, and mostly when the street foods, you see that how good they are, how hygienic they are. And also try to see that, off plate, the vendors try to do all this kind of nonsense things. So this is also responsibility of the society, that to take care of the food adulteration. Some of them are very simple, how to check the food adulteration. If the Indian Society is interested, we have a presentation on that. Maybe you can educate your colleagues and your community that how we can actually check these food adulterants in a very simple way. There are again some the way that crop harvesting happens, all those things, the contamination can occur. But one thing I would like to highlight here is that food processing and packaging is linked to the Also poor nutritional quality. Like, most of the processed foods have high salt, high sugar. Of course, now in this country, zero trans fat regulation has come. Therefore, probably as long as the best practice food business companies should not have trans fatty acids. Well, some additives are required, but what level they add, some preservatives. Definitely in any processed foods, you will have some preservatives and you will also have some flavor agents. Therefore, try to avoid to as much as possible processed foods. Then ultra processing will take away all your nutrients, and most of the processed foods are subjected to heat refining, and as engineers you all know, during that process we also lose the nutrients. Therefore, the best thing is to have micro milling wherever it is possible, and also if the cold pressed oils are available and if it is affordable, please opt for that. Last slide is this. The food is geographic, that means location specific. As I said, the foods that are grown in our own area are good for us. Therefore, we need not to worry that something is available somewhere that you get it for exorbitant price. So foods are grown according to the climate and weather conditions, and foods are also season specific. Therefore, anything that is available in that season, we should have it. There is a scientific reason for it, and you people are eminent and well-educated people. I don't have to highlight on that. And foods are also age and physiological group specific. That means each age and category has to take different foods. We all know that when we start Annaprasana, hot rice is mixed with a little bit of ghee that is given to the kids. But as you grow old and you have different ways of eating the food. So that is the way that one has to develop the education and awareness about our food and our nutrition. So, but for some adults and elderly people, because of various other reasons, sometimes we may need to depend on supplementation of nutrients, but that should be done with the recommendation of a practitioner or doctor. We should never take any supplementation on our own, no matter how educated you are. As long as you know that particular nutrient you are deficient for it, then only you go for the supplementation. Otherwise, we do not recommend anything like that. So some of these nutrients in excess, actually, when you gulp and in the benefit of the thing that, okay, I'm going to be good if I take as many supplements as much. Some nutrients in excess can increase the susceptibility to the infections or even some other adverse effects. Therefore, balanced diet is the key. The reason is that no single nutrient, no single food will give all these nutrients, which I said, about 10 vitamins, about 10 minerals. Let's say if you take rice, you will get only carbohydrates. If you take wheat or other protein-rich foods, you will only get protein. But to get all these 10 or 20 different nutrients, you should have as many as foods that are available. That is nothing but diet diversification. Balance means the portion that you need, amount that you need, and wherever it's possible, please go for wholesome food rather than the processed and refined food. To a group like this, more than this I cannot say. Thank you very much for your, and very few tips. As I already mentioned, seasonal fruits, do not go for refrigerated items. Well, this is not for you people. Yeah, this is one important thing, as I already mentioned, limit the consumption of processed food. But there's one thing. So simple way of taking care of your this thing is, there's one equation that we use, that is body mass index. Your body mass index should be between 18.5 to 23. How do you know that you are between 18.5 to whether you are in this range? There's one simple equation. Your weight, let's say you are 60 kg, and by your height in meter squares, let's say you are 160 centimeters. That means 60 by 1.6 square should give the value between 18.5 to 23. If it is little more, okay, don't worry, up to 24. But if it is anyway more than 25, 26, and then you need to think that how to reduce your weight, how to change your diet. These are the things. Let us say you are engineers, I don't have to say, but when I give it in a presentation to layman people, they may find it difficult. How do I take my weight? How do I convert my height in centimeters to meters and square all that? I simply say that you take your height, let's say your height is 160 centimeters, you subtract that with 100, that should be your ideal weight, that is 60. Let's say if you are 150 centimeters, 150 minus 100 should be, that is 50, should be your ideal weight. Well, say no to all this junk. And then if we do not take this, we have to depend on this. Bottom line is health, nutrition, education, environment, and gender equity should be the indicators for the nation development. Stay healthy with balanced diet. Thank you. Yes, sir. I'm done.
Thank you, sir, Dr. Bhanuprakash Garu, for wonderful presentation and lot of information. In addition to madam's about nutrition and other dieting information, you have given very good information of it. Thank you so much. And we really look forward for future association and take forward your cause also, the cause of our institution and our engineers to to further announcement. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Now-
sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. In fact, I have come on the road. I stopped it now. May I request our honorary secretary, Dr. Rajiv. Anybody wants any questions, you can ask, sir. Sir, if no questions, I request Dr. Venkata Subbaiah Garu to kindly propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. So it is my pleasant duty to propose a vote of thanks after this wonderful program. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. G. Bhanuprakash Reddy, Director, Grade Scientist, ICMR, NIN. Guest of Honor, Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati, Senior Professor Retired, Department of Food and Nutrition, PJT, SAU. Engineer B. Brahma Reddy, FIE Chairman, Telangana State Center. Engineer P. Shankar Prasad, Committee Member and Convener of this event. Past Chairman, Dr. D. Hanumanthachari and Dr. G. Rameswar Rao. Council Member, Engineer M. Shyam Prasad Reddy. Joint Honorary Secretaries, Professor Muhammad Moinuddin and Engineer T. Venkatesham. Committee Members, Saripalli Surya Narayana Garu, Professor Ramanujacharya, Corporate Members, Professor Ramanujacharya, Khagender, Rama, Narmada, and all the participants, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. On behalf of the IEA Telangana State Center and on my own behalf, I convey my sincere and profound thanks to Dr. G. Bhanuprakash Reddy, Director, for his excellent lecture with the title Balanced Diet for Health and Nutrition Security. Thank you, sir. Bhanuprakash Reddy, sir. I extend my gratitude to guest of honor, Professor Dr. T.V. Haimawati, for inspiring and informative lecture with the topic Safer Food, Better Health. Thank you, madam. I am grateful to all the participants and also the chairman and past chairman and past honorary secretaries of IEA Telangana State Center, council member, corporate members, and all others who have made it convenient and attended this meeting and made this program a success. Thanks to one and all. Now I request all of you kindly stand
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य विन्ध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thanks to one and all once again.